So please, take a seat. Thank you so much. And we will start the night. Catherine Dirksen will start the program, Secretary General of ECIU. Catherine, please.
Hello. Well, welcome, dear colleagues, online and here at this location. This is our new home, the new home of Aalborg University, Denmark, and of the European Consortium of Innovative Universities, representing 13 European universities and an associate partner in Mexico. ECIU exists since 1997, so we are celebrating this year our silver wedding anniversary, and finally we made it to the heart of Brussels. This is our new home. We had to be very agile in organizing this event. COVID does not make it easier these days to organize physical events, so we had to do some changes in the program, and we are also limited to 50 people here, but we are happy that you're all here and also online. I'm very happy to stand here and to present the speakers of today. The first speaker will be Anna Panagopoulou, Director for Research and Innovation at DG RTD. And Anna, thanks a lot for stepping in for John-Eric Paquet and for Signe Razzo. Then we have the Danish ambassador today with us, Per Fabricius Andersen, welcome. And the head of Department for Research Support and Policy at Aalborg University, Charlotte Pedersen Jacobsen. At the end of the program, we will also have a short session where you can answer questions, and also the online audience can answer questions. This door here is open to all of you. This should be a place of connection, inspiration, and innovation. And we are very serious about innovation. Innovation is in the DNA of our member universities. Innovation is in the heart of our name and also in the core of our activities. The flagship initiative of the ECIU is the European University, committed to change the way we deliver education from degree-based to challenge-based. Our ECIU president, he is there in the back, keeps saying, degrees are history. Solving challenges is the future. That is bold, that is true, we truly believe this, and we will make it happen together with all of you here. Our ECIU University is a very ambitious endeavor to build a European ecosystem for solving challenges. Solving societal challenges and bringing together our best researchers, learners, and societal stakeholders at the European level. Together, we work towards a European degree, a legal statute for European universities, and on enhancing the impact of research and open science, and that are all topics which are also close to your heart, Mrs. Panagopoulou. We do work in close collaboration with you, European policymakers, and our European network. So therefore, this home of ECIU and Aalborg University is also your home. As a tradition in Germany for housewarming parties, I'm bringing to my dear colleagues, Charlotte, Anne, and Olga, a bread and salt. And that should actually symbolize prosperity. We wish you that there's always enough bread on the table to survive and enough salt so that life will be fun. So this is for you, Charlotte. Can I give it to you? And to all our partners and colleagues and friends here, we look forward to continue our fruitful collaboration with you. And we have tomato seeds for all of you here. Many seeds of collaboration are already planted. Let's nurture them, look after them, and help them grow. Hereby, you can count on the ECIU being a soil for citizen science, societal engagement, and knowledge creation on a European level. I wish the ECIU and the Aalborg University a very long, successful, and inspiring time in the new office, and I'm hoping that we can also celebrate our golden wedding anniversary here with you. For sure, this house will not be a silent house. The doors are open to all of you. A very warm welcome. Thanks. Please.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I'm really excited to be with you today and to replace Jean-Éric, who unfortunately couldn't make it. But that was a great opportunity for me. So I hope with my keynote speech, I will be able to represent adequately Jean-Éric, who is an excellent speaker, as you know very well. So, dear Catherine, dear Charlotte, dear Ambassador, dear ladies and gentlemen, very happy to be with you today. And this is actually the moment for the transfer of the office that makes me feel and think about the transformation of universities based on a common vision that we can establish with the new European strategy for universities. And yes, it was music in my ear, what you said, Catherine, because we have done this together. Together with you, we worked to deliver the new European strategy of universities. With AAU and the Aalborg University, we were been working on the new era policy agenda. With you and the member states, we came out with a very ambitious agenda that we will only be able and effective to implement only if we are working together. So, congratulations for this new office that will enable us to reinforce further our collaboration, to have intense dialogues with other stakeholders, with member states, on how we can go ahead with these two important policy initiatives that we have prepared from the Commission side, together with the GEAC, in the case of universities, together with you, the new European strategy for universities and the European research area policy agenda. But I would like to start a little bit with the new European strategies for universities. And I think all of us, if we close our eyes and we think how we would like to be the future universities, how we see our universities of the future, is maybe what you said, Catherine, open. You talk about open doors. I would like to use something like open universities, open in the society, close to the citizens, close to the industry, close to the business. Universities that they could work equally at basic research, but also at high TRL, and with their activities and their collaboration, they will bring results that matters for the society. Universities that they are playing a leading role for the recovery of Europe, that we so much expect, all of us. Universities that they could lead the green and digital transition. So we have this vision in this new strategy for university, and we want to do that together with you. But we have also the vision that this transnational collaboration between universities that has been already established, it could be brought at a higher level, with more intensity, with more stronger collaboration, and maybe a legal statute, a European degree. So let's see how we will be able to go ahead in all these areas. We have been working over the last 2 years to identify which are going to be the priorities and the objectives of this strategy for universities. And here I would like to highlight 4 areas that have been identified. How the universities can work better together, how we can enable this collaboration, and how we can facilitate also the work from the member states, from the ministries, education, research, to reinforce and to help those universities to play this leading role. So one important area that we have to work together is really to reinforce this collaboration. And in our vision, we want to reinstate the excellence. So we need a culture of excellence. We need a culture of how our universities could excel, not only at European level, but also international level. And we need a culture of inclusiveness. So the strategy is for all universities. The second area that I would like to highlight as objectives is that our universities should be the lighthouse of the European way of life. And we have talked a lot about this European way of life in the past. We're still talking about that, but I just would like to highlight 2 or 3 issues that are fundamental. So universities could promote and protect the European democratic values. academic freedom. Universities, they could be inclusive, they could foster diversity and gender equality. Nowadays, gender equality is a priority across the different domains. And also universities, they are fast-changing environment, and they have to be able to absorb these changes, and we are there to support them. Green and digital transition, in particular in the area of research, we talk a lot about missions, about pilot projects, hydrogen, about chips. We discuss about chips, but we will not be able as Europe to deliver this. We will not be able to establish the technological leadership that we expect without a strong and active role of universities. University, which already in its programs, education programs, address this, universities that through the research, they will support the implementation of the new technologies, universities that they could be key actors in innovation ecosystems. Because we have to bring all these elements together, all the missions in universities together in order to achieve this green and digital transition, and universities that are linked to business and industry. So this is the only way that we believe it will be possible for universities to play an active role in green and digital transition. And last but not least, I think there are a lot of debate about European universities and the role in the new context, political context. UK is not anymore a member state of the Union, so how we can ensure that the 27 member states universities will play a leading role in a global context, that we can attract the talents, and we will be able to be the places where more and more talents will come and European talents will stay. So an important role for universities in the future on that. But I would like to highlight also that there are a lot of actions in this communication. You know, the Commission strategies, we always start with maybe 50 actions with how we'll try to reduce this number of actions to something that is essential, but at the end there are still actions. That's why, apart from the different actions that you will see and you will recognize, there are 4 flagship initiatives, which I would like to highlight, and we are very much in line with ECIU brochures that I've just seen, and I'm very happy to see. So the first one is based very much on the experience that many of you have in the European Universities Initiative, which is a successful experience. And it has been demonstrated that a lot could be done if we bring the universities together in close collaboration. So we suggest to expand to up to 60 European universities with more initiatives, with more than 500 universities included. Very inclusive. With 1.1 billion euro coming from Erasmus Plus for the period 21-27. So 2024 will be the period, the midterm period, where we have to assess the success. Are we able already with the goals that we put in place to achieve this objective? Second, very important, and I would say there will be a lot of discussions, I believe, either in the Council or in the different discussions we have with stakeholders and member states. We suggest to work towards the legal status for alliances of higher education. We want to put down the conditions and the framework on how we can achieve this legal statute, and to analyze the legal conditions for that and the legal possibilities that exist for that by 2024. Why we need this legal status? Because we think that will create the opportunities for formal collaboration, for a representation of those universities that they establish the alliances, for sharing resources, sharing infrastructures, for bringing and having joint strategies between the universities. So we believe it is worthwhile to test this, despite the fact that we all know that it's very challenging. The third point is, as you, Catherine, said, a joint European degree. How we could develop the opportunities for such a degree, to examine the options, starting by analyzing and suggesting criteria for a European degree label. And this European degree label and European degree will complement what the students they will receive in any case as skills and as qualifications out of their national degree if they follow up joint programs. And last but not least is the scale up of the European Student Card Initiative by starting deploying a unique European student identifier for all mobile students in 2022 and to all students in universities in Europe by mid-2024. So these are the 4 flagships, not easy, quite challenging, and a number of activities and actions, individual actions that we would like to look forward and to push forward. And here I would like to link a little bit what we do in the European strategy with universities in the new European Research Area Policy Agenda. There are 20 actions that have been agreed by the Competitiveness Council, so the Ministers for Research, in November 2021. Those 20 actions has to be implemented together with the stakeholders and the member states for the institutions in particular. And I would like to highlight among those 20 actions, some actions that they will contribute and they are cross-referent in the European Strategy for University. Open science, the establishment of the European Open Science Cloud, how we assess the research career, how we assess the research organizations, what we can do more to have a more comprehensive framework for research careers for attracting talents, what we can do more for academic freedom, how we can use the new foreign interference toolkit that we have established for research and innovation, and how the institutions can capitalize in order to protect themselves from foreign interference. And of course, last but not least, research and innovation and the role of universities to all activities and the priorities in relation to green and digital, as I said. This is the communications, the policy agendas. What are the next steps? The next steps is a lot of work from the Commission side that will not be so impactful if we not have you together with us. So my wish and my plea is that we not only celebrate this new office, but we take opportunity of this new office to work together, to listen further to you, and to help us that the implementation of these 2 policies will be done in such a way that will be with you and for the researchers, the students, and the European society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anna, and thank you also, Catherine. I sense there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of expectations, and also a lot of interesting challenges that we will endeavor to meet and to work together. And thank you very much for the bread and the salt. We will bring also something to drink so that we can consume it in good order. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming. I'm here on behalf of Aalborg University Rector and Board of Directors to present a few words from Aalborg University to our inauguration today. They're very sorry they could not be here today, but these Corona days are uncertain times. So I'm here today to wish you all welcome and to participate in our opening of our new office space together. I'm actually particularly happy to be here also today because actually back in 2010, Aalborg University went on an adventure to Brussels. I packed my gear and started the university office here back in 2010. It was a pilot, but we're still here, and we hope to be here for our golden wedding anniversary, or not wedding, but anniversary, together with our good colleagues from ECIU. I have a few words to convey to all of you from our management at Aalborg University. This inauguration marks a milestone, and it highlights an important aspiration that has been at the core of Aalborg University since the beginning of the university in 1974. Because our soon-to-be 50-year-old walls that surround the university back in Aalborg were not erected to shield it from the rest of the world, but the founding ambition of Aalborg University extends far beyond its walls. And every day we strive to further that cooperative aim into the heart of Europe, securing a greener and more livable future. This, may I add, is the ambition of many, if not all, European universities. And Europe needs universities with these ambitions. With ambitions of cooperation, with a determination to engage in critically and constructively, and by doing so to take also responsibility for our shared future by transforming complex challenges into sustainable change. This is our duty, but it's also our obligation. Every day, thousands of young people are linked across universities all over Europe, exchanging thoughts, ideas, visions, and views. And by laying digital railways across our continent, not only are we driving a digital development, we are utilizing the aspirations of a digital Europe. We bring people together and we bridge gaps. And because of that, we have an obligation to the young Europeans to give them the tools to explain their past and their present, and give them a sense of belonging in a world that seems to gain in complexity every day. Give them a sense of belonging in a European community and reassure them that even though our world may feel divided, unity, cooperation, and collaboration is still a fundamental component of being European. As a university in Europe, we have that obligation. We're born in the wake of disaster. The European Union is an institutional manifestation of our collective experience. But while its history may be a constant reminder of what was and what was never be again, the present carries the hope of a brighter future. Being here today with all you representatives from education, business, and politics, the success of this enormous endeavor feels more present than ever. The European Union has, in its last 70 years, made political quantum leaps. In the exchange of ideas, the exchange of goods, and the combined power of knowledge, we are entering a new era. Just a few months ago, at Aalborg University, we adopted a new strategy emphasizing the 50-year-old truth that our search for knowledge always begins and ends in partnerships with the world. It's a strategy that also underpins our university's position as a leading mission-oriented university. If we are to tackle complex scientific phenomena with any hope of helping society, then we must put even greater emphasis on cooperation between political institutions, businesses, and academic expertise. That is the pivotal point. So the basic idea of the mission-oriented approach is that if we are to successfully address major challenges, such as the climate, the energy, security, migration, and digitalization, we must create partnerships. Only by taking an interdisciplinary and holistic approach to research and education, and not the least innovation, combining the power of the expertise from both engineering and science with the knowledge of human and political life, do we have a chance of understanding the complex dilemmas that we are facing, dilemmas that are far-reaching and urgent. So no one can solve these on their own. It's big challenges. We all share the responsibility for making better decisions. We are unfortunate to be living in time of climate crisis, pandemics, and unstable borders, but we are also fortunate to be living in what feels like the pinnacle of scientific and humanistic cooperation in EU. In Europe, we share a history and a fate, but we also share possibilities, perhaps even greater than ever before. So with the continuing manifestation and consolidation of the ECIU and the enormous financial push by the EU in Horizon Europe program and the upcoming European strategy for universities, we are more and more optimistic. The inauguration of our joint offices, ECIU and Aalborg University here, is in the heart of Europe and marks our dedication to the European ideal and our commitment to sharing its face and its future. And with all that in mind, I would like to extend a very special warm welcome to our Danish permanent representative, our ambassador, Per Fabricius Andersen, to come and share a few words. So welcome, Per. The floor is now yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte, and congratulations to Aalborg University and the ECIU with the inauguration of the office today. And thank you for inviting me to be part of it. And we think that the office is a clear testament to the need for universities to engage across borders as part of their modern core missions. Denmark is a small country on a global scale, a few heads short of 6 million people. We are highly dependent on European and international cooperation, including in the field of science. It's important for universities from small countries such as Denmark to reach out and team up with researchers and institutions in other countries. It's also important to be in dialogue with politicians and policymakers to take part in shaping the frame that researchers and innovators function in. We already have a good setup for this. And the physical presence of universities and networks in Brussels helps the needed cooperation and dialogue to thrive. Denmark appreciates the structured and honest dialogue we constantly have with you, the universities, in Denmark as well as here in Brussels. It's a very valuable and helpful dialogue in our day-to-day work and our cooperation with the Commission and the European Parliament. Sometimes you even pay us a visit at the permanent representation. Please continue to do so, because you bring the most fascinating projects to our attention and inform us of what is important to you as institutions, businesses, and researchers engaging in European cooperation. You're also a welcome reminder of what the permanent representation works for here in Brussels in the field of science. Above all, we work to create the best supportive frame for Danish researchers and innovators in and through European cooperation. For knowledge to flow freely and for ideas to grow. Knowledge is, after all, the basis for future prosperity. As it says here, knowledge for the world. We work under the apprehension that it is research of the highest quality that best contributes to common EU objectives. Denmark is not blind to the political reality of Europe and understands that we have to navigate in the sea of 27 national realities. We also experienced that in full when we negotiated the legislative proposals in Council. However, Europe cannot afford to compromise or relativize the principle of excellence, because this would lead to lack of trust in results and tamper with our global reputation in research. And it would also be an ineffective way of spending our taxpayers' money. Transnational opportunities depend on what we can bring to the table. Evidently, Danish universities simply punch above their weight in research and innovation in European and global level. It is for me a pleasure to see how well the Danish participants do in European cooperation, to see what researchers from Danish institutions help build the European research powerhouse. Some through individual research projects, many more through cooperative projects. Partner universities, researchers, businesses, and networks are essential for participation, and therefore it's very positive to see how Danish institutions team up across borders in networks such as ECIU. Per capita, Denmark is the second best performing country in Horizon 2020. Approximately 1.7 billion euro went from Horizon 2020 to Denmark, according to the figures from last year. A little under a third of that funding went to private companies, and this is indeed impressive, and I would like to thank you all for all your efforts. Opportunities for cooperation increase with agendas aligning more and more between member states and the Union. Aligning agendas is no coincidence, since many of the main challenges of today are cross-border in nature and require a coordinated response. COVID aside, two of the most prominent challenges today are the green and digital transition, including the societal and democratic impact they have. These are not at all the only two pressing challenges, but they are at the very top of the agenda in most governments and also within the Union. Obviously, we cannot expect to face these challenges properly without research and innovation. In fact, it's difficult to think of any modern challenge that cannot benefit from academic reflection and discovery. Danish researchers and innovators have a lot to contribute with in the green and digital fields. There are numerous examples of valuable projects in Denmark with the aim of contributing to solutions to the green and digital transitions. Aarhus University is researching carbon storage in plants and soil. DTU is building components for hydrogen engines. That is when they're not building camera systems for rovers on Mars. SDU has built a robot that can do swab tests, and Copenhagen University has some of the world's leading researchers in quantum technology. Really, the examples are numerous. When it comes to green research projects and projects in key digital technologies, researchers and innovators from Denmark perform particularly well in the framework program. I hope that you get even more of your research and innovation projects supported by the framework program in the future. There may be far between Brussels in 2022 and Bologna in 1088. But one thing that hasn't changed since the establishment of the first university in Europe is the importance of universities in society. Having gone from historically being a place for the few, universities fortunately embrace much wider today. The student body is more diverse than in 1088. Research spans across the whole value chain. And it also creates spin-off companies that are established to bring innovation from universities to society. Universities even open offices in networks in Brussels. Universities reflect and respond to their surrounding society. Research helps answer the most prominent questions, and innovation contributes to solving the most pertinent challenges, just as universities should. As policymakers, we need to preserve what works and discuss what more is needed to support the missions of universities, also here in Brussels. Will we agree with each other? Certainly not on everything, nor all the time. However, the dialogue must continue and be cherished if we are to continue having one of the top framework programs for research and innovation in the world. Today is for celebrating European research cooperation through initiatives like the house we open today. Both in Denmark and the EU, we have the rest of the year to discuss continuous improvement and challenges in our cooperation, such as hiccups in the establishments of the EIC, risk-willing capital, and increased use of lump sums, or accountability and reporting requirements, always too many, we know. We also have the rest of the year to discuss the special challenges and opportunities that comes with being a university not situated in a capital. Albeit on the New York Times list of must-see places in the world, Aalborg to the Danes, Aalborg to the non-Danes, Aalborg has a lot to offer. Once again, congratulations to Aalborg University and ECIU with the opening of the office today. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Pia and to Anna and our speakers today. We have, I think, gotten a lot of interesting information in our speeches today, and we are a very informed audience here from the university sector. We have all our colleagues from ECIU, our colleagues from the Brussels environment. So I'm quite sure that there will be a few questions or comments to our speakers today. And if anybody should have a question to me, I'm also willing to answer. And Catherine, I'm sure you also are for ECIU. So we open now the dialogue for those that are here in the room, but also, and I'm now looking at the camera, there is actually a streaming of our event, if you have forgotten. So hello to all of you, and if you have questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat. We will then address them here in the room. So please, if you have a few comments or questions, the floor is open now for a little while. Olga, you were first.
Break the ice.
Yes.
So, a question to Anna Panagopoulou. Thank you. In your speech, you perfectly linked research, education, innovation, service to society, the different missions of universities in Europe. However, if we look at the European funding landscape, we still have to go and cover all the Horizon Europe calls, Erasmus, Digital Europe, EIT, and there's much more also in the EIB. There is a lot of funding available. How about linking the funds and having a more programmatic approach to university funding? And I understand this is more for the long term, but I would be really curious to your vision.
Thank you very much. It's okay. Thank you very much for this question. Actually, there is a hook in the communication that I didn't refer to about a pathway for future investments, a more consolidated future investments, taking or trying to bring together the different financial instruments that are currently exist at European level, but also at national and regional level. So what we have done already under Horizon 2020 program with different calls in the context of university initiative is to top up the 41 universities that have been established, the university alliances that have been established, with top-up funding for Horizon 2020. It was a separate call, but I would say a simplified one. Now, there are two things that we would like to look already now at Horizon 2020. Horizon Europe, sorry. First, whether there are the possibilities to have, in case and under our program, we continue to contribute to university alliances, a more streamlined, synergetic call covering both Erasmus and Horizon Europe part. This is, let's say, the most evident that we can do under the current legal framework that we have. And the second is, as I said, this investment pathway that we may look at in the midterm review of the MFF, and we'll start discussions about the next financial period. Having said that, although I know it's difficult for universities to apply 2, 3, 4 times, at least what we have done at the Commission level is we established this funding and tender portal, which provides the opportunities for one-stop shop where the interested applicants, they can look at what is best fitted for them through different calls, indeed. But simplification, it's not easy. Lump sum, you talk about lump sum, is one way in the context of implementation, but certainly in the context of application, we probably have to think more so that we'll simplify the life of the applicants and to ensure coherency, complementarities, and no overlapping of activities between the different programs.
Thank you very much, Anna. That is good news. It is welcoming words of simplification and making it easier for us to cooperate and also to integrate more and to have this true cooperation across borders without too much difficulty. So these are good words for that. Thank you. Do we have, there's one down here, yes?
Good afternoon, Massimo Busuoli. I am the head of the Norwegian University of Science and Technology Brussels office, so I would like to define myself a best practice for the European Research Area, an Italian working in Brussels for a Norwegian university. I would like, first of all, to thank the Danish ambassador for mentioning Bologna as the oldest European university. I graduated in Bologna and I'm from Bologna, so I really appreciated your mentioning. Thank you very much, from my region at least. And I have a question for Mrs. Panagopoulou. Basically, everything is now, of course, very focused on the European University strategy. And as NTNU, we really appreciated it, and we are actively engaged in one of the European university networks that are mentioned as to be one of the instruments to guarantee the cross-collaboration between different universities. The question that we have raised somehow in our internal discussions is, okay, that's fine, we are creating poles of universities that collaborate very well together, but aren't we risking to create closed silos of collaboration? So if the instruments are a way to increase the collaboration between universities, how we can somehow ensure that we are not just creating poles of collaboration, and how can we ensure to create a European system of collaboration? Thank you.
I think that there are two things. The first issue is the instruments that we have put in place in the context of the MFF, okay? And there we have to think that we studied the 41 alliances, so the poles, as you said. The new calls that has been just launched under Erasmus Plus gives the opportunity to open further the existing poles with addition of other universities or to create less new ones. So in other words, the first priority under the current Erasmus call, and I'm saying that under the scrutiny of my colleagues from DG ACT, that I don't think is anybody here, is to open already the networks that have been already established. Nevertheless, when we are starting and thinking of this legal status of university, that brings the collaboration at a second level, because today this collaboration exists because there is a contract. How sustainable will be to have this collaboration if and once the contract is over? So, and second, we at European level, we cannot oblige the partners of this collaboration who should be in. So it's really up to you to decide with whom you want to team up. So we as Commission, what we can do, we can provide the framework, the investment if appropriate, and the tools. And then it comes up to you to see how open you want to have this network and how you could be inclusive. So I hope that replies your question. Partly. But maybe bilaterally we can continue.
Networking session also to, yes, there's time for, I think, one more question. Before
yes.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So, Jan-Ivar Jönsson, I'm the Vice Chancellor of Linköping University in Sweden, and I'm a member of the ECIU University. I wanted to address you, actually, Charlotte.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, you told us that Denmark is very successful in getting money from EU funding. Yeah. Better than Sweden, I have to confess. Yeah. So why did you decide to open an office in Brussels? What's the take-home message to the other universities not having one?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, when we opened it, we were beginners and we were seeking to increase the European cooperation, and it has been a successful path till today, where we are quite well engaged in the European cooperation. A good advice, it's not all about money. Of course, that's a very important issue, especially the researchers today are quite depending on external competitive funding in most of European countries, I believe. So that is, of course, a key element. But one of the things that carries the ambition for being here is really to integrate and cooperate and getting into cooperation to get the networks, to get to know people, to get to know what's happening in other fields of cooperation, be it in the university sector or with businesses, authorities, also being close to European institutions, having a direct dialogue. You can have that. We can see that now since 2 years we've been in virtual rooms. It's okay, it works, but it's not the same as meeting and having discussions. So the investment in Brussels pays off because it gives you access to information, it gives you access to good collaboration, and it stimulates also to come and meet people. I've seen researchers coming to Brussels. We've had really excellent meetings with scientific officers in the Commission and in the Parliament and in our embassy. That gives a lot of motivation and engagement for doing things together. And often great ideas, they don't pop up when you're at your desk. It's when you're in the airport, at the cafe. That's where you get the ideas and by discussion. So I think it's a lot of issues or things that makes it all be a good investment. But first and foremost, it's really to get to know each other. I hope that answers a long answer. Yes, of course, Anna.
So just to say that while we were developing our policies, and I would like to speak a bit about the new European Research Area Communication and Policy Agenda, we had numerous discussions with umbrella organizations because it's not always easy for us to reach out to everybody. And those representatives in Brussels are the easiest to reach. And in most of the cases, they don't represent only themselves. They represent the opinions of the other. And I think that brings an enormous added value. Now that we are going to implement the European Research Area Policy Agenda, we have established an ERA forum where we discuss with member states and stakeholders organizations. They are observers and they are representing the biggest group. So I see a great added value of having some of those organizations in Brussels. I think it facilitates a lot because you also understand us better and we understand you better as well.
Exactly. I totally agree. Thank you for your comment also. I believe we have to close the dialogue. It's really great to have these discussions. We can continue afterwards, but we also have an inauguration, a little event here. So I will give the word to Catherine to continue with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to also introduce you to the people who will be actually working here in the office, and that is my dear colleague Olga Wessels, the head of the ECIU office. Please come in. And Anne, the EU advisor from Aalborg University. And there is another Anne Britt, who unfortunately can't be with us today, but we send her all our warm regards. I would like to ask you, Anna, and Pierre, also on stage, to actually officially open the office. So, I have 2 scissors. That fits well to your outfit. Yes.
So how, it's the first time?
Yes.
So you as an ambassador you have done before? Actually,
I'm not.
no?
It feels a bit royal.
Yes.
Okay, right. It's
How
not
the-
a big ship.
So we have to do it together then.
Yes.
Okay, let's start. 1, 2, 3. All the best.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
I think I can speak without the microphone.
Yeah.
Yes? Actually, the only word that I need to say, the last words, is to cheers, yes. Raise your glasses. I forgot to bring my own, but raise your glasses and cheers. And happy to see so many here, even though it's limited because of the corona. But thank you for coming and thank you for celebrating with us. And now the reception is open. And thank you for those who follow from a distance. See you soon, we hope. So cheers, everybody.